So how is this recent weather event going to affect our Townsville real estate market? Well, the good news in short is that we dodged a major bullet. My heart certainly goes out to all of those that were affected by this recent event, particularly our friends in Ingham and further north to Cardwell, and anyone locally that had some isolated issues. It's a really terrible thing to have your home flooded. We really hope that the community rallies around. We've seen some amazing things happen over the last few days around that front. So my heart goes out to you all for a speedy recovery. Townsville in general, obviously the rainfall wasn't, it was predicted to happen, didn't occur on the Sunday. So the widespread flooding that we saw back in 2019 didn't occur, which was fantastic news, because if you think back to that 2019 event, it absolutely shut the economy down. There was so much going on in the 3 to 6 months following that. It was quite the disaster. So really relieved for Townsville as a community and also as a market and the economy to have dodged that bullet. What we have seen in the immediate follow-on from that is probably a tightening of supply. The stock levels are really tight. It's probably held back a few owners. We did have scattered rain around Christmas, January, but then obviously the massive event through the start of the month, and that did hold up many sellers getting their homes ready and getting properties on the market. So that's definitely frustrated buyers to a degree. They haven't had much to choose from, and it's only added to the pressure because you've got the arrival of defence personnel starting this year as well. So there's lots of demand and pressure on the market, which is a good thing if you're a seller, not so good if you're trying to buy. But we do expect those conditions to relax a little bit as we ease into the end of this month. We've got the sun out now, so as properties start to come onto the market through late February and March, we'll start to see more, an easing in that area. But it is an interesting market that we're operating in. In 2025, many analysts came out in December of last year, in 2024, stating that 2025 is going to see another possibly 25 to 30% median house price growth here in Townsville. Now, that's pretty hard to wrap your mind around as a local, but with the intense pressure that we're seeing from investors interstate and also local continuing to really push to buy properties here in Townsville, it may not be such a hard thing to imagine. The good news if you're selling, obviously that is an increase in demand, and with tight supply, it's always going to go well if you are a seller. Obviously, if you're a buyer, it's very competitive. The price points, certainly the investors are most active in 650 and under. And if you're a buyer in that space, it's very difficult. So we are finding that locals trying to secure properties, making a trade up or buying their first home anywhere from sort of 450 to 550 and sometimes tripping into the sixes. The locals are having to step up and really get aggressive and make strong offers if they're to even have a chance. So it's creating for the perfect storm that we saw in 2024, especially the back half of the year, is certainly continuing as we move through the start of 2025. So on the good news front, the big weather event, we're not expecting a major impact apart from that initial tightening of supply. As for the rest of the year, as we see it, you've got a potential interest rate drop. They're talking in the next sort of coming months, whether it happens before the federal election or after. So it's going to be very interesting to see, but that'll only be a positive thing. That's the next phase in that cycle. So any drops, certainly more than one, we're expecting a real injection into the local real estate market. We have seen a change in the market, obviously through 2024, a big change in price. So, this year with the people trading up, whether it's in that 650 sort of bracket, but certainly as people look to upgrade the family castle and take advantage of those gains that they made last year, or perhaps you bought a home 5 years ago and you really want to know where things sit, people are positive, the mindset's positive, so we're really expecting those confidence levels to continue throughout this year. And when there's a confident market happening, people are secure in their jobs, they're trading up, they're looking at bettering their situation, and people are buying things. So, it's a very good economy that we're seeing at the moment, and with that pressure continuing as people move to the area as well as that interstate investor demand, if you're a seller, it's a fantastic space to be in. So if you're looking to sell, whether it's in 2025 or perhaps 2026, or you've secured a property even in the last 12, 18 months, and you want to know what you're sitting on, or perhaps you've got an investment property that you've been hanging on to and you're thinking maybe now's the time to sell that property, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation, talk to you about the market. We can have a little look at your property online without even disturbing the tenants, and just give you a really good snapshot of what things look like for your property right now. Love to hear from you. Reach out on the numbers online or on the socials. Happy to hear from you. Can't wait to chat. And all the best for 2025.